Hey guys, welcome to today's video on how to create a movement mindset. So if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Elika. I'm an energy optimization coach, a trusted advisor working with purpose-driven leaders who want to have more energy. And I love this topic because it's a really big element of my 4-pillar framework called the energy reset recipe, which we will go into. So if you're new to this channel and want to learn more about all the different ways where you can manage your energy much more efficiently and have more energy to be able to create a bigger impact in the world, then subscribe to my channel because that is where I'm going to be sharing all the lifestyle tips that you need. So I've got some key things that I want to talk about today in this movement mindset. And I know a lot of the people that I actually work with are big on exercise. So you may notice already that I use the word movement. So I guide my clients through a roadmap that I've created over the last decade called the Energy Reset Recipe, where we have 4 pillars. And the first pillar is about personalizing their nutrition. And the second pillar is movement. And the reason why I talk about movement, not exercise, is you know how words have this association? And I just know that if you're anything like me, when you think about exercise, you think about that intensity of movement that you have to do. And I really believe that the body is designed to move. The body isn't necessarily designed to subscribe to a gym membership that you have to go to 5 times a week and blah, blah, blah. And all of the things that come with that can be great, but that's not necessarily a need that the body has. Movement, however, is. So if you're interested in the other 2 pillars, they are purpose and relationships and mind and self-care, which is predominantly looking at like the sleep hygiene and your upgrades of your mind. And so you'll see that in all the other videos that I share. But let's focus today on pillar 2, which is movement. So when we start thinking about movement as something that we can do every day versus exercise that is a chore, then it allows us to open up to what are the different ways that we can move. And my favorite thing to do is to get you to think about what was the movement that brought you joy when you were a child. Was it swimming? Was it playing? Was it tennis? You know, whatever that movement was for you. Now, I was a very sporty child. I was a natural athlete. So running and being part of the athletics team came natural to me. I loved being outdoors. I loved being in control of my own physical body and using, you know, that drive that you get from running is a connection to peace, because there's something about when you have to go internally to get your body to move and then pick up the speed, bring it down, and do that for small or long distances, that really creates a beautiful connection to your body. You obviously can get this in other exercises, but running for me, I realized at a young age, was something that I was fully in control of my body at that time. And therefore, it was something that I felt I could get a lot of success and yet be really connected with myself. Quite deep, really, I think, for like, you know, what I was experiencing at that time. So running became my thing. And so I was a natural athlete, so I did try other sports. But running was always that. And then what I realized that was with running was that as I got older, running became something that was really easy to just help me to manage my weight because I loved food. And so the truth then is, then I think I had an unhealthy relationship to running, because I would go out, I would have these big nights, and then I would come back from a big night and have to get up in the morning and run. And so you know what it's like in your 20s, you can get away with it. And that was really my relationship with running then, was to maintain it for my weight goals. Later then, I realized that running was something that was convenient, because no matter where I was, running was something where I could just pack a little top and a shorts and my trainers, and I could literally just get out and run. You know, there was really little preparation of, you know, what I had to wear and all of that. I could just go out and run. I could be on holiday and just go for a run. All I needed was, you know, tarmac, and not even that, right? I just needed grass or floor, and I could just go and run. So the convenience of that compared to, for example, going to the gym worked really well for me. And so running became my thing. And then after my second burnout, I really had to incorporate other forms of movement. And the other forms of movement needed to create calmness in my body and less intensity. So I actually stopped running and started to just walk more distances, long distances, but walk more. I picked up yoga and started doing yoga as a regular movement practice to create harmony in my body. And I only did yin yoga. And I just slowly, honestly, it took me a few years. I just slowly started to get a lot more balance in how I thought about exercise. I would continue doing weightlifting because I really believe in the power of building muscle and really creating that body to be a fat burning machine, a sugar disposal system that you get from muscle. But I knew that I could really fall into the intensity of that really easy because I love going to the gym. I love lifting heavy weights. I love all of that intensity. Like I'm a typical high achiever that wants more, more, more. And so what my body really needed was calm. And so, I remember reducing the weights, not going to the gym, just doing home workouts, focusing more on my functional movements, the squats, the lunges, the push-ups, just using the physical body to create the resistance, to build muscle, as opposed to needing to push to that extra little bit of weight and creating the physical stress. So it's really important to establish what is the movement that creates you joy and how does that fit into your lifestyle. And this then allows you to create that mindset. Now, talking about mindset, you have to know that for a lot of us, we don't have that practice of moving all the time because we have limited beliefs around our movement. So I know in Singapore, I absolutely love living in a tropical climate, and yet a lot of people tell me they can't exercise because of the heat. And I'm like, oh my God, when I was in the UK, all the runners didn't want to run in the bad weather and they were moaning about the weather. Now I'm on a tropical island and people don't want to exercise because of the heat. And there are always ways around it. Like here, to wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and to go for a run at sunrise in the warmth, as the humidity is rising, but in that warmth, that maybe is the way, right? For runners, I understand that in the UK, they used to go on the treadmill, but I would rather, make sure that on those days when the sun was out, or at least the clouds had parted, I'd go for a long walk in nature, wrap up warm and go. There are so many ways that we can create a mindset that is for or against movement. So we really need to think about that. We also really need to think about what is the things that take away from our motivation. So a good one is lack of sleep. If you're tired and exhausted and you wake up in the morning, let's be honest, you're not going to want to do a movement practice that seems like it's going to take a lot more of your energy, because movement will create energy in your body, it will get energy moving, but it has to use energy first. And so, if you're not sleeping, if you're not on top of your sleep hygiene, if you're constantly exhausted, if you're working long hours, if you're working late into the middle of the night, these are things that are going to affect your motivation to be able to move. So rather than focusing on why you're not moving and having negative talk about, not being consistent with your exercise, look at the thing that's stopping you from having the motivation to move and focus on that before focusing on movement. So creating that mindset by looking at our beliefs around exercise. Maybe it can be our body type. I've just got in the Caribbean culture, we have the bums, we have the hips, we have the curves. And so many Caribbean women just feel that, I'm always going to have these curves. What's the point? I'm always like this shape. But the truth is those curves with muscle that's like natural spandex looks amazing. Look at Jennifer Lopez. Her butt is insured, right? So, a lot of Caribbean women also, we really care about our hair and the efforts that it takes to manage our hair. And so we don't want to get our hair sweaty because we don't want to wash it every single day to take out the natural oils in our hair. And so they won't exercise because of that. And there are so many ways around it, dry shampoo as a prime example. So look at the beliefs that you hold that are not allowing you to have the motivation to move. That's going to be a really important part of having movement as a mindset about how you create and navigate having more energy to be able to create more impact. Okay, I also want to talk about overcoming obstacles, because I realized that when I am in that movement mindset, a lot of it is because I've created habits that really allow me to continue in that routine. And so let me give you some examples of it. Like, I remember that when I was trying to form a routine of having the energy to wake up when I wasn't on top of my sleep and my working hours, I started to go to bed in my exercise gear. I started to sleep in it. So I literally had to wake up in the morning and put my trainers on and go for a run, or put my trainers on and go to the gym. At that time, I was living in the condo. So I had a gym in the condominium that I was in. And so it was easy to just literally roll out of bed and go to the gym. So that was one thing that I did to bring in that habit. Another thing that I do, which I do this now, is I automate the days in which I exercise. Now, just so you know, I'm a big believer in intuitive movement. So I will wake up every day and I will ask my body what it feels like. But I have automated the 3 types of movement. So the 3 types of movement that we really want to get is strength, right? So this is resistance training. We want to be able to push away from force, create a resistance in the body. That's what's going to build muscle. And what I do for my strength training is I have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as my strength training. Now, I work out at home outside just with dumbbells, but you may have certain days that you go to the gym and certain days you do home, but automate it so you're not having to think about it. So for me, that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because I absolutely want to have rest days in between doing anything about muscle building. The second form of exercise I have is about flexibility. So for me, I get a lot of that through my yoga, and I specifically do yin yoga because I really want to bring in a restorative movement practice. So I do my yoga typically at weekends, because at weekends I want to really step into a much slower pace than through the week. And again, that's something that I do as a lifestyle to be able to keep my nervous system and my body calm and everything feeling flowy and without stress. So Saturday and Sundays, I wake up in the mornings and I'll tend to do my yoga, and then I'll go out for a walk. And the third movement practice that I have is actually walking, and it's about cardio. So cardiovascular ability is your ability for your body to pump oxygenated blood around the body, for energy to flow around your body. If you want to have more energy, you can't have energy that gets stuck in your body. Hence, movement is so important. And so on Tuesdays and Thursdays, my rest days, I walk in nature. Currently I live in botanical gardens. And so it's just beautiful going for a long walk in the park, and like literally going for an hour and just walking through nature and having that as my movement practice. And that automation of Monday, Wednesday, Fridays weightlifting, Tuesdays and Thursdays having the walks and the cardiovascular, Saturday and Sundays having the flexibility, that works really well for me, that automation. It's working for me now, but I'm open to change. And last week I was full of cold, and I woke up at the weekend and I was like, ooh, and it came at the weekend. Luckily for me, that was the day that I didn't really have anything intense, so I could just stretch and then walk in nature. But Monday was my weights day, and I woke up on Monday and I knew my body was aching from the flu, and I was not about to push my body and put physical stress on my body. So I missed my weight training. And I didn't actually, on Monday, I didn't even have the inner energy to do like yoga. So I just got up and I stretched and I sat in nature and I just moved a little bit, so slowly from place to place, and then came back. And the second day, I went just for a walk to the local shop just to get some fresh air and all of that. And then I just stayed at home and soothed, and then went for a walk in the afternoon. And so it's really about not being rigid when you create these, and still really asking your body, what do I need today? And really checking in with your body. So these habits that I create, this automation, really helps me to really create this. And you know, for you, it may be like, you know, where you work out. So Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, you might go to a gym, or you might do classes on certain days, or a buddy. You know, maybe the thing that you need to overcome the obstacles is having certain people that you work out with, doing your meetings, your walking meetings. So for example, you could have a team meeting where you catch up with somebody in your team, and you could do that once a week, and you always do that on the phone, walking. So try and think of, how can you observe what is the barrier that you're having to creating a movement mindset? Is it the fact that I'm exhausted because I'm not sleeping? Is it the fact that I haven't automated, so I have to always think? Is it the fact that it takes this long to get to the gym, so actually I just need something that I can do that's convenient? And then create the thing that you need to overcome that, so you're not waiting for the day. And by doing this, you will absolutely create a movement mindset. And so when we pull all of this together, what you will see is that for you to have a movement mindset, movement needs to be a lifestyle choice for you. It can't be something that you choose to do. It's got to be built into your life. This is why I'm absolutely obsessed with having walking as an essential movement for all human beings, where possible. So having that will mean that your lifestyle is already got a way to be able to get energy constantly moving through the body. And that when energy moves through the body, your physical body has a lot more support. And so physically, you're going to be really taking care of how you come across and how you present yourself as a part of just creating that movement mindset. So that's all I want to share with this today. And I hope you've loved the video. And if you have, please give it a like. If you want to learn more about how I live a lifestyle of really looking at all the ways that give and take energy away from me so that I can have the most energy, because energy is your most valuable currency. And I want that energy to be able to give the bigger impact in the world. And if you want the same, I would highly recommend that you subscribe to my newsletter, because that's where I share a lot of just like my daily life habits, where I'm auditing my energy every week and just sharing that on a weekly basis with you on the things that I'm doing. So you'll get a lot of amazing tips from there, and you'll find the link to my newsletter in the description box. So until the next video, then do leave your comments and let me know on anything you want to hear or what you think about the video. What resonated with you? What is your movement practice? Where do you get stuck? I would love to hear. So share those in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.